to Bytes. I'm Christine Tao. I'm the CEO and co-founder. I am so honored to have Professor Jenny Chatman join the chat today, not only because I'm also a Cal alum, go Bears, but because I found her work and her discussion on leadership in organizations so fascinating and relevant to today's time. So super excited to chat with you.
Thanks, Christine. Great to be here.
Yeah, so just tell me a little bit about yourself first and your work, and then we'll dive right into the questions that I've had, because I have some questions for you.
Great. Well, I'm a professor at the Haas School of Business at UC Berkeley. Been there a long time. I'm an expert in leveraging organizational culture for strategic success and leadership, especially executive leadership. So I've published a litany of research articles in those domains that range from studies of narcissistic leaders to how Himalayan expeditions manage their group dynamics and influence their climbing outcomes, to how cultural adaptability influences bottom line financial performance. So I love my work, and it all fits within this sort of culture leadership strategy framework.
That's great. And I think what resonated for me was at Sounding Board, we think a lot about leadership in driving real outcomes and impact and having a measurable impact on the bottom line. And so that was something that really struck me as I looked at a lot of your research. And so one of the things that you talk a lot about is different leadership styles. And I think, you know, sometimes people might have this idea one is better than the other, or, you know, there's ideas around situational leadership. And just given the climate that we're in today and crisis like we are now, I'd love to hear your thoughts on, you know, what leadership styles are most effective, or how leaders can think about how they can use styles to their advantage during this time. And then maybe a little bit on how that might shift or not shift, depending on if you're at the front lines or all the way up into executive levels.
Sure. Well, the COVID crisis is really causing all of us to think very hard about our, short-term behaviors, our impact on others. And in the leadership domain, I actually think that there are some very consistent findings we know from the research that are directly applicable to what leaders need to be doing now. And what I would say is sort of the key is versatility and using a wide range of styles for the very divergent demands that this crisis is requiring of us. I've always said that the best leaders are diagnostic, meaning they look at a situation and ask on a situation by situation basis how they can add value. And right away, if you're going to ask that question, how can I add value in these different situations? The answer has to be that I need to have a broad behavioral portfolio. I need to have a broad set of leadership styles that I can bring to bear on various situations. So right away, the leaders who have exercised a versatile set of styles, a portfolio of styles, are going to be more familiar with the demands that are being placed on them now. So let's talk about what some of those specifics might be.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Right. I mean, one of the most important one, given that this is a very, very serious health crisis, is that a kind of coercive and directive style is going to end up being more important now than it would be typically. We are in an emergency situation. There are some things that people simply cannot do. For example, they cannot congregate in large groups and be close to one another. We know that from the evidence that's unfolding around the world about how the virus spreads. So this is something that leaders need to lay down the law about. And there are rules like this that aren't always so apparent in other kinds of situations, but we're in a real emergency situation, and that requires a level of directiveness that I typically would not advise leaders to use.
Right.
So that's one piece that's unusual. However, there's
But
also right, and here's the versatility part. There's two other really important things that people need. One is they need reassurance that things are going to be okay. And even that we don't know what okay is going to look like or when it's going to come, people need to have some sense that you as a leader have a longer term vision for that we're going to get out of this, that we're going to make it work together, some kind of inspiring, reassuring vision that will help people get through the moment to moment stresses and anxieties that are incredibly real here. So now we've got two pieces on the table. One is the clear direction over absolute sort of safety kinds of issues. A second is reassuring and inspiring using a visionary style. And a third has to do with, and I know this is going to sound weird because it's contradictory to the directive style, a kind of democratic style that says to people, look, there are some non-negotiables, right? Physical distance, congregating, that kind of thing. However, we're confronting a bunch of uncertainties and we don't know how to solve these. We haven't confronted these before. Therefore, I need each of you to use your ingenuity to come up with solutions that are going to work for us and for our organization. So I think these are the three top leadership demands right now. And, the challenge is that they don't fit together super easily. And so leaders are going to have to be really thoughtful about how to combine them in a way that doesn't look inconsistent to people. They
right.
need to provide the direction, they need to provide the inspiration and reassurance, and they need to also free people up to find solutions to new problems. Those are my three.
Yeah, I think, to wrap it up, it sounds like, and you're so clear, I love that, we're talking in threes, right? It's be clear, but also be reassuring, and then involve people, or be democratic in those decisions. And at Sounding Board, we talk about that a little bit, like the what, be clear about the what and where you're going, and like you said, the non-negotiables. But you get people enrolled by allowing them to have a say in the how, right?
Yes.
As long as you know how to clearly define those boundaries, that's the way that you can ensure that you're clear as a leader around what you want and what needs to happen, but give people a way to be able to sort of make that their own. So
Yes.
thank you so much, and super helpful. And thanks again for that.